Magia Record is out. Almost 10 years after the original, Shaft returns to animate this new spin-off of the Madoka Magica series directed by the people behind the original character designs, and many other key aspects of Madoka Magica, Gekidan, Inu, Curry. Magia Record is also based off the mobile gacha game of the same name, which is an important key aspect in this video later on. And hey, it's great that Madoka Magica is back for a new generation of anime and anime fans. While this series currently is awesome, just 4 episodes in, I'm a bit worried about where this anime has changed some aspects of the original formula. So, let's get into this. This is Magia Record. Also, there will be spoilers for the first 4 episodes, but they are minor, so if you don't mind minor spoilers, then this video is safe to watch. So to be square with you all, I reviewed the first Madoka Magica way back in the original run of Anime Friday in 2015. Since 2015, I have grown as a person and also learned to pay better attention, so after rewatching Madoka Magica OG for the Nakama Club podcast, more info on that at the end of the video, I decided, you know what, let's check out this Magia Record. My first impressions are interesting. I am greatly enjoying this series, but I'm also worried about it as well. But I think it's important we get to why I'm enjoying it so that we can better understand where my criticisms are coming from. And firstly, wow, I am really enjoying these characters. And honestly, it doesn't take much with Madoka Magica to enjoy their characters. Typically, they're some of the most layered and detailed characters out there in the magical girl genre, or just in general. But Magia Record goes in a different path than Madoka Magica, and that's simply making these characters more relatable and fun. While this has a few drawbacks that I'm sure we'll talk about later in the video, it does offer up something different. For example, characters like Momoko, who is blonde, and therefore, she is Saber-san. That could be like a catchphrase for me at this point, as a character that probably wouldn't be seen in the original Madoka Magica much. Sure, elements of her character are in the character of Mami, like how motherly she is, but that's something that Magia Record seems to be doing to its main 5 characters anyways. But as well, instead of this anime simply being about uncovering the truths of magical girls, this anime also has different goals to that as well. For example, our main character Iroha is searching for her sister Ui, but it isn't as simple as just that. Initially, she forgot her sister after she wished for her illness to be cured. I find this very fascinating, as it seems to tie in with the other mystery of Kamihama and hearing the rumors in the city that there may be a way to save the magical girls. This is an interesting plot thread because it's not treading back over Madoka Magica, it's creating a new path for the story to take different turns and feel a bit more unique. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, Magia Record will have to get there eventually anyways, so why not do something different before we get there? And to help do that, we have a bigger cast this go around. For one, we have Iroha, our main character, who looks shy and timid, but has a freaking awesome crossbow. I'm sure that's a reference to Madoka's bow somehow. Then we have Seba-san, Momoko, with her giant Buster Blade sword, straight out of Final Fantasy. As well, we have Yachio, and don't be fooled by her looking basically like Homura. She's got a really good transformation sequence. Then Kaede, who is highly emotional and cares deeply about Reina, who herself is a bit of a hothead, though she has a heart of gold. I like them all, to be frank. They all bring out a bit of variance to the show and completely different feel than our original 5. The art as well helps distinguish itself at times. Magia Record looks even better than the original. For example, the witches' worlds look better, but in subtle ways. I'm sure almost 10 years later, Shaft has experienced staff and technology it didn't have before, and therefore are now able to create more unique anime more efficiently and just downright better than before. Watching this anime back to back with the original Madoka Magica really helped to show this. Everything in the witch's world just pops so much more than previously. As well, the characters themselves take a more modern and sleek Shaft approach to things while still retaining that blocky look they used to have. As well, we still retain those super thick outlines. In many ways, this just feels like a more modern Madoka Magica with all the bells and whistles one might expect from a modern Madoka Magica. But Now we come to the section of the video with the criticisms, and maybe more just worries, but if you've been on the internet, you probably know the most common criticisms of this series, so I want to tackle this a little bit of a different perspective. I am worried about Magia Record, and it's something I am seeing as a common sentiment amongst other forums and various social media sites. But for me, the worries stem from the knowledge I have of other series called Fate Stay Night, but more specifically, Fate Grand Order. Now most will know where I'm headed, but to keep it short for the uninitiated, Fate Grand Order is a mobile gacha game. Sounds familiar? Essentially, you may spend exorbitant amounts of money to get awful drop rates to maybe, and that's a maybe, get your favorite waifu card. It's slimy to say the least, but that's what mobile gaming is these days. My worries is that Aniplex and Sony will simply do with Magia Record or Madoka Magica what they have done with Fate Grand Order, and I am here to say that that is a mistake if they do such a thing. But why exactly am I worried specifically about Madoka Magica and not the Fate series? Well, at the end of each episode, they promote the mobile app for the Madoka Magica game. No biggie to me, they can do what they want, honestly, but my issues with it are this. Madoka Magica is not Fate Grand Order. It is not Fate Stay Night. The Fate series has always worked by having multiple universes and spin-offs because that's the way the series was originally created by the original creators. Did you know that there is more to the Fate series than just the Fate route, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel, and even the other stuff like Grand Order? If you didn't, you should be surprised to find that the Fate series is connected to series like Lunar Legend Tsukihime, The Garden of Sinners, and many other anime and visual novels from Type Moon. I'm worried that Magia Record is the start of Aniplex and Sony fate-ifying the Madoka Magica universe for pure monetary gain, which will water down Madoka Magica as we know it. And here's the thing, I'm already starting to see it in this anime. Besides the fact that this is based off a mobile game tie-in, we can see clearly that Magia Record strays from the original Madoka Magica in many subtle ways, but ways which add up really quickly. For one, the darker tone of Madoka Magica is essentially not in Magia Record. Why is this bad? Well, Madoka Magica practically perfected the dark magical girl genre and inspired a whole generation of edgy and violent copycats. We can see it stray from this tone with the show's lighter color palette and a more modern design philosophy of having the girls be way more cute than in the original. And don't get me wrong here, Madoka Magica had cute girls, as that was the intention to subvert the expectations of the audience that would initially want to see this. This isn't Precure, this is much darker than that, but I can't help but be bothered on some level by Magia Record's subtle dropping of this aspect. Right now, Magia Record just feels like a magical girl show with the Madoka Magica name. We can also see that the story just isn't as good as the original Madoka Magica, and that's a crying shame. Gen Urobuchi was a mastermind, and he created this amazing anime in Madoka Magica, but Magia Record without a Gen Urobuchi is like a Dragon Ball without Akira Toriyama, and there's a lot of complexity to that statement. I know Akira Toriyama doesn't exactly work on everything, but my point is, it just feels like just another show to me at times, like an imitation of Madoka Magica. And hey, I mean, I like watching this show, I really do like Magia Record, but I feel we aren't living anywhere up to the name of the Madoka Magica series in the slightest. I feel like putting the name of Madoka Magica on this series was definitely a huge mistake. Of course, Aniplex and Sony want money, you know, they are a business. Capitalism, and so they want that Madoka Magica name. It's synonymous with so many people, but as well, they know they will probably receive backlash from people like me, the hardcore, which are disappointed that this isn't what we're, should be getting. It's a double-edged sword. And some of you may remember this, but in my review for Steins Gate Zero, I said there is no reason for Steins Gate Zero to exist. I don't even think this anime should exist. That is how conflicted on this anime I am, as it's just using the name to tread back over a series that already had a perfect ending anyways. Of course, people hated to hear that. Well, it's obviously because you don't say anything bad about a beloved series, but I'm going to say the same about Magia Record. But a little bit of a caveat. Magia Record has no reason to exist, but I like Magia Record a lot. I enjoy watching it, I like the characters, I like the story, and I am entertained enough to where the issues of Magia Record just aren't bothering me to the point where I feel like I can't watch it. Steins Gate Zero to me felt like a cold-hearted cash-in on the fan base of Steins Gate and the series name. Magia Record, honestly, absolutely the same thing, in every sense of the word. But something, somehow, is keeping me from fully disengaging from this series. Maybe it's because I'm a huge fan of magical girls and magical girl-like shows. Who knows? But one thing is for certain, I am worried about Magia Record. But it's awesome. So I'm probably going to keep watching it until further notice. But before we go, I like to point you towards a podcast that I'll be doing this Sunday over on Satsuki the Savage's channel. We'll be talking about the original Madoka Magica. In fact, this is one of the 2 King of Anime podcast episodes we'll be doing before the show's return in April. So if you want to see us talk about Madoka Magica in a podcast format between me, Satsuki the Savage, and everything animated, then head on over there now. I don't know what that voice was. And subscribe to Satsuki the Savage so you won't miss the podcast before it goes live on Sunday. And with that being said, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe and ring the bell, comment down below. What are your thoughts on Magia Record? Is it awesome? Are you worried like I am? Let me know down in the comments, and as well know that I have a Patreon where on the $1 tier and above you get access to everything. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.